Yeah, so I just realized a way that the government scams people out of millions of dollars. And I had never really thought about this until it happened to me, where I had a court case recently where I had to go in the morning. And what happened, I was told to be there at 8:30, and then, we're sitting there for a couple hours, and the judge shows up 2 hours later to start like going through the cases and stuff. And while I was sitting there for a couple hours, I was thinking like, well, only brought like 10, 15 bucks with me. I hope I have enough to like pay for the parking and like, the extra parking that they have. And I realized that like the scheduling, the way that they do the scheduling where you come in at 8:30, or whatever the time is, and the judge comes in multiple hours later, that caused every single person in that room to have to pay more money. My parking ticket at the end was $10, and I was one of the first people to leave the room. So, I mean, other people might be charged like 15, 20 things like for multiple, for further hours. So I was sitting there thinking like, okay, well, this is like literally over $100 for one room just in like parking payments for, coming to the building. And the only functional reason for a place to like schedule for the judge to come hours later, the only thing they did was like roll call, just a quick like who's here and who isn't here for 2 hours. Like that's just not practical. Like there's no realistic reason to do a roll call for 2 hours. Like just do a roll call. It takes less than a minute to call through people's names and see like who is and isn't there, or literally just have the judge be there at the time and like call the people up as they're going, so that there's no reason to do a roll call. So the active only functioning reason for having a judge come in multiple hours later is to slow down the number of people that you can process. So instead of processing 100 people, you're really only processing 70 because the guy wasn't processing anybody for 2 hours straight while everyone was told to be there. And then the other thing that does is it causes people to spend more money on their parking just unilaterally. That's legitimately the only purposes it actually has, is to slow the process down, because to be a faster, efficient process, you figure the judge would be there at 8:30. And I ran the numbers on this, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like when I ran the numbers on it, I was like, okay, this is actually like millions of dollars a year. So let's just go through
All
that
right,
really.
guys. So we're just gonna try to breeze through this really quick. In my room, I left really early, so my parking ticket would be less than other people's parking tickets. But we're gonna assume that everyone got the same $10 or whatever. So it should be a little bit over $100, probably over 200. But let's just say 100 for my room. Now, there's 5 different rooms in the same hallway that do the same, court stuff. So in my hallway is $500, and then in the same building, there's about 5 or 6 different hallways that do court stuff. We're just gonna say 3, because that just makes it easier. I'm pretty sure there's only like a handful that are full at the same time. Not 100% sure on that, And then, so for a day of functioning, they're going to get about $1,500. And then we'll just times that by, what did it say, 7? Just say 7. I know that they only are there from, Monday to Friday, so 5 days. But we're assuming low numbers on a couple of these things. We're assuming that they're not, fully stocked with people with all the different hallways in the courtrooms. And then we're also assuming low end, only $10. I actually left. I was like the second or third person that left the room. So other people are paying more, like $15. So the numbers are more closer to double what they'll actually be. So times 7 for the week, and then times 4 for the month. So $42,000 for the month, and then times 12 for the year, making $500,000. Just straight up, the the only thing, the subtle change of just having the judges come in hours later than having the people come in for their court cases in one building causes the government to earn $500,000. And then, so the other thing of this is, there's one of these court, buildings in every state in the country. And I mean, there's also, multiple styles of court buildings. Like there's more than one kind of court that you can go to for different things. And, this is just one style of it. So we can say there's 50 of these, which means that in a year, the government is getting $25 million just straight up scamming people. Like, because, and I say this is a straight up scam because realistically, for the building to be a functioning, efficient building, you would want the judge to be at the court case when people are arriving. Like the judge should already be there to start processing people. I mean, this is a practice where instead of processing 100 people, the government is scheduling the judges so they're only processing 70. And, instead of 100, they're processing 70. Why? I mean, the big problem I see with this is people are being paid to run the building. People are there for multiple hours to do court stuff, right? So why is the judge being scheduled 2 hours out? People are being paid to like run the building and like be there, but for what? For people to sit in a room for 2 hours before a court case? Like, why are people in the building being paid to run the building? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's a waste of taxpayer money. I mean, it's funny because it's not only a waste of taxpayer money, it's an active way to steal more money from people, other than taxation. But the honest only other function of slowing down the process, kind of wasting everyone's time, is just to cause people to spend more money in parking. I mean, there's really only two functioning things that happen when the judges are scheduled that far out. It's just, that one, the process gets slowed down. There's less people that get processed that day, and people are going to have to pay more for parking. I mean, this is just, it's kind of crazy that, I mean, just for I don't know, I didn't think that I would stumble on a giant scam like this that I just had no idea about, that I don't see any awareness on for media, so I would love to see this shared around and talked about. And, hopefully our government can stop wasting people's time and money, just frankly speaking.